Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 coming at you with another video. 123.95. That's what the Lakers were able to put up against the New Orleans Pelicans this evening. And honestly, I'm through with them. I'm through with them. I really don't have a whole lot to say. I watched as much of that game as I could stomach. Luckily enough for me, I had trouble getting links in the fourth quarter, so it made the decision for me. Um, it wasn't anything to see at that point. We were down by 30. I think we had cut it to 20 or something like that. More of the same. I will say this though: we were forced to play Dwight Howard, and that's a good thing. Um, I think what stood out for me in the box score was the simple fact that the Lakers um, really shot the ball from three super horribly tonight. And when you couple that with the turnovers, 25 of them, I believe it was, 8 of them unforced, you're going to have situations where it's going to be an easy night for your opponent. And that's exactly what we saw out there. Is a New Orleans team who found balance out there, moved the ball around very well. Both Bi and CJ had 8 assists between the two of them, which is highly impressive because they're going to need those players who are basically score first guys to think assists and think ball movement in order for it to all work out. So you saw a recipe for good things for them. Jonas Valanciunas was hitting shots tonight. Herb Jones playing well for them. 6 players in double figures once again for our opponent. Second game in a row where we allowed that to be the case. Um, the turnovers between Russell Westbrook and LeBron James just made for a very dejecting game. We got nothing out of our youngsters tonight. Both uh, Austin Reeves and Malik Monk were no shows. I don't know what happened with Austin Reeves. He didn't scratch at all. Malik Monk wasn't able to hit nothing. Um, you know, THT didn't have it like that tonight. Some guys did get blocks. If you want to look for the good in the box scores individually, we saw a lot of block shots. But other than that, it wasn't a whole lot to really be excited about. You just saw a team that just did not have any desire to play basketball tonight. That's what I'll say about them. They didn't look like they wanted to play. Um, and you couple that with the same old stuff from Frank Vogel, leaning on vets, putting players in positions to be out of position, basically, and ultimately get taken advantage of. As I mentioned at the halftime uh, um, video that I did, Bi was just driving down the lane continuously, getting layups after layups after layups, and as a result, getting calls. And it just made for a very, very slow game for us. And you couple that with us settling for bad 3-point shots and just bricking all of them. It was hard to watch. You knew it was going to go south when you saw that he was starting Trevor Ariza. Once you see that he's starting Trevor Ariza, you understand that this is going to be a long night for you. So I've gotten to a point where I know Frank is going to do Frank things. So I try my very best to just condition myself at this point. It's like it's no sense in complaining about certain things that you know are going to happen. The sun is going to rise. Are you going to be upset about it every day? No, you just be prepared that the sun's going to be there, and that's that. So that's what Frank and his small ball lineups is to me. That's what him and his lack of offensive imagination is. I mean, I can't tell you how many times we saw the Los Angeles Lakers throw the ball into the third row because we're trying some pass that we had no business even drawing up in the first place. Our players should not have even been asked to do those things. Switching out and then having Westbrook try to rush into the paint on some big as we try to do an overhead pass over his head or vice versa. We do stuff like that and find ourselves in situations that aren't any good for us. I mean, you're asking your team not to do anything helpful. What do you expect is going to happen? So I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, I can do other things with my time. I don't have to sit here and watch this team struggle. And I think most Laker fans are getting to that point as well. What I want us to do is to understand the concept that I've been putting into these videos every day. We got to find something out of nothing. You got to get these players into a position to where they can net you some assets, and that should be the direction we're going in. We can run vets out there until we're blue in the face, but they're not going to net us anything at all. We're going to sit here, try to shop them dudes, and we're going to get lowballed. Some of them are going to walk, retire. It doesn't help us at all to have them doing the bulk of what it is that we do as a team in the second half of the season. It just We need the opposite, you guys, and that's what I'm trying to focus my conversation on. It's just putting that message out there. This needs to be about the youth so that you can make it, so that you can trade them for something, you know? And so as long as we're out here doing the Trevor Ariza, Avery Bradley, Carmelo Anthony thing, I mean, I saw Wayne Ellington out there in the fourth quarter. I mean, come on, man. What are we trying to accomplish? What are we trying to accomplish? At the end of the season, when you package everything you have, are you still going to honestly say you don't have anything? When you've had this much time to put something together? I mean, it's not about making the big trade to get Russell off the team. It's not about what LeBron is going to allow you to do or not to do. No, it's just about recalibrating what your plan is when you know your season's goals have changed. You know, we understand that we don't believe in this team. Everybody's in agreement that this isn't a championship team. So follow that path all the way through by doing what teams who are in your position do, by bringing young talent onto the team and trying to see if they can give those guys opportunities. That's what we need to be doing now. And I don't understand why the Lakers are dragging their feet on every good decision necessary to make this team better. It's like the whole franchise is in some type of trance. It's like they're, basically in a space where they're deers in headlights. And not the good kind of deers in Milwaukee either, the kind that are over here getting ready to get run over by their own mistakes. I just think it's time to start allowing basketball minds to start making basketball decisions within the Los Angeles Lakers front office. Because this is an easy fix. It's not a quick fix, but it's an easy one. Building a championship team is not easy. But getting a good, smooth start to your rebuild, it's not difficult. Just got to be willing to trade what you have to get what you need. And be patient. That is it. That is it. Don't trade away everything you get, and don't think putting together millions of dollars worth of players, or $100 million, $300 million worth of players rather, is going to be enough. All it does is squeeze you into a position where you're leaning so much on those bodies to where you really probably don't have enough depth to get you through the season. So that is my whole point of view. I don't want to get too much into that game. The Pelicans did what they were supposed to do. They beat a bad team who really didn't have a whole lot to offer. A dejected team without a plan and without a clue. Destined to make the same mistakes over and over again. And we, the fans, are asked to pay for it. And that is where I have a problem. And that is why I want them to start getting it together as it pertains to fixing this issue before fans start realizing they're being gypped by people who ain't doing their jobs correctly. They're going to start realizing that very soon. This LeBron James thing he's only going to mask but so many of your problems, Lakers. At the end of the day, you got to start making it seem as if you know how best to build a basketball team without superstars. Because that's the only way a superstar is going to actually want to be there, in the climate that they're headed into. You understand what I'm saying? So this is the thing the Lakers need to understand. You are a destination that players are always going to want to go to. But the average player is learning from the situation that they're seeing right now. And that is, if you go to the Lakers, they may botch your situation. Like, it's starting to become a thing. And so if we want to overcome that, we need to show that we can rebuild. And, thinking that you're going to throw $100 million, $200 million, I want you guys to remember Carmelo Anthony. I want you to remember LaMarcus Aldridge. That's what you guys will be. You'll be in those situations once again, asking players to take your bag, and they'll say, no, thank you. I'm going the other way because your infrastructure isn't correct. That's who we've been. We need not be that going forward, thinking we can cut corners because we're the Lakers. We've been down that path right after Kobe retired, and it did not work out for us. Heck, before he retired, we were going through that. Let's not go through that again. So that's what I gotta say, man. I'm gonna eat some dinner. This team is awful, man. This team is trash, like actual garbage, real life basura. It's over to be thinking about salvaging this season or trying to make the play-in tournament. None of that matters at all. The only thing that matters is us figuring out who we want to coach this team, getting young players on this roster, and getting rid of the old guys who can't net us anything, and playing the season out as healthy as possible for those big three, shutting them down if you really want to do it right. That's it, man. I don't care nothing about this Pelican game. Whether we won this game or not didn't matter. We wasn't doing nothing this year, and that's the point. So let's start thinking about how we're going to get past this season healthy with all of our assets intact. Meaning don't bring back Anthony Davis and shutting Braun down for sure. I'm not trying to be nice. I don't care about whose feelings get hurt. I'm not trying to make enemies with Braun. I understand that can have long-term disadvantages. But at the end of the day, we got to salvage our situation. So he's going to have to understand what it takes for us to do that. That's it. My name is BDF44, and I'm going to leave it at that. Game ball goes to somebody on the Pelicans. Definitely wasn't nobody on our team. And I'll give the game ball to... who's over there? B.I. and CJ, man. Give it to B.I. BDF44. Peace.